Hello and welcome to Thought for July the 29th. Our readings are 2 Samuel chapter 15, Jeremiah chapter 19 and Romans chapters 3 and 4. And our thought is, he grew strong in his faith. All who decide to serve God and become his sons and daughters through baptism travel along different paths of experience in life. Paul, in his letter to Romans, reflects on the life of Abraham as he grew strong in faith, and how he became fully convinced that God was able to do what he promised, as we read in chapter 4, verses 20 and 21. Abram's faith grew. He believed from his heart what God said. He did not weaken in faith when he considered his own body, which was as good as dead, since he was about 100 years old, or when he considered the barrenness of Sarah's womb. No distrust made him waver, we read in verses 19 and 20. So Abraham's faith went from strength to strength. Now compare David's situation with Abraham. David was despondent. He had climbed the pinnacles of faith, but then his life had hit a blind spot in his actions with Bathsheba. God's words bore heavily on his mind. Because you have despised me, I will raise up evil against you out of your own house. 2 Samuel 12 verses 10 and 11. It seems clear that David experienced deep depression. He ceased to be actively involved in administering justice, and Absalom, as we read today in chapter 15, took full advantage of this. David was overwhelmed by events. His faith had lost its focus. But in his inner being, he knew all was in the hands of God, and he clung to that conviction. We read how he flees from Jerusalem, saying, "If I find favour in the eyes of Yahweh, he will bring me back." Verse 25. It is a contrast in some ways to Abraham, who grew stronger in his advancing years. Jeremiah's challenges are different again. Today we read how he is told by God, "Behold, I am bringing such disaster on this place that the ears of everyone who hears of it will tingle." Chapter 19, verse 3. Jeremiah was to be in the midst of that disaster, but would he survive? We have a lot more in common with Jeremiah than with Abraham and David. In coming days, we will read how God reveals to his prophet warnings about the latter days, chapter 23, verse 20, and chapter 30, verse 24. These will cause us to think of the challenges to our own journey in faith as the whole world faces up to God's judgments. Challenges which may not be far ahead as the cauldron in the Middle East stays near boiling point. Well, thank you once again for joining us for Thought for the Day, where together we can open up the pages of God's Word, knowing that Word to be a lamp to our feet and a light to our path.